to this episode if you feel like your calendar is full, yet you still want to grow your business in 2024 or 2025, I guess, and you don't really know how you're going to fit it all in. It's something that I hear really often, especially after you have this really long business planning session. You have these huge goals. You're really excited about all of them. And yet you want to grow your business, but it feels like your calendar is already capped. And it feels like in order to make more sales, you actually have to do more in your business. I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. And if that isn't a breath of fresh air, I don't know what is. It doesn't mean that you need to do more of this and more of that. And you need to post more content and you need to launch more products and that you need to have 100 more things going on. Honestly, there are so many people that come to me and they're like, Maddie, I want to grow my business, but the scalability of it just doesn't make any sense. Feels like I'm pretty capped at the moment. Feels like I can't really make more sales from where I am. And this is one of my favorite things to prove people wrong on because, as you know, my major focus is on freedom. My major focus is on being able to have financial freedom and really build a business that is thriving, as well as being able for you yourself to have freedom. Your life doesn't have to be run by your business, as well as we can simplify your business and still make you a lot more money. So right now you're probably posting, feeling a little frustrated with your growth. You're being consistent, posting the reels, but it still feels like the same few people are there. Feels like you're kind of speaking into a void. You sit down to come up with new ideas, but you feel like you've kind of tried them all. You don't really know what those next steps are. You're looking at your 2025 goals. You're feeling overwhelmed because you feel like you were trying to hit them last year. You don't know how you're going to get there this year. You feel like your calendar is already full. Or maybe your sales are working, your content is working, you're doing all of the right things, and you just don't know how to actually make more sales because you are feeling like your growth potential is kind of capped. You're feeling like where you can go is all that you can really do, and we have to find a way to scale your business. The more you look at your growth, your head starts spinning, and because you're supposed to be like, yeah, you think I'm supposed to do more? I'm supposed to add more products and more suites and more content and more platforms. The major misconception is it's not about more, it's about effectiveness. It's about efficiency. It's about what is working. It's actually much more about tweaks and adjustments to your current execution than it is adding full things to your plate. You're already posting the content. You're already sending the emails. You already have the website out there. You've already done a lot of the work. You're showing up. You're here because you are a doer. You're here because you are somebody that gets things done. You're here because you want to learn and you are somebody that is out there and you're executing. That's why you're listening to this podcast right now, because you're trying to scale your sales. You're already showing up. It's not about being more consistent. It's not about doing more. It's not about posting more. It's not about going on to more platforms. What it is it's about finding the things that aren't converting like they should and actually just making tweaks and adjustments to the things you're already doing to make them more effective. This is why when people tell me they don't have time for business growth because their business is already taking up all of their time, I'm like, it's not actually about adding anything to your plate. What it's about is actually removing things from your plate, making things more simple for you, as well as making the actions that you have as efficient and effective as possible. So like websites, they convert at 2 to 3%. Emails, they convert at 7 to 10%. Social media converts at 5 to 7%, kind of depending on your industry. So we're looking at that and we're finding what in the puzzle, what in your actions are not converting like they should be. How many things are you doing right now that actually have a gap in the execution that all we have to do is make a tweak and adjustment, make a change to the messaging, rewrite the email, reframe your website, and add a different pillar of content in, and that is where business growth really comes from. One client of mine went through PTP and said her business feels a lot less stressful now because now she just has to execute. The frustration and the guessing went away, and she really just feels like she knows what to do. I think before business growth, before you really learn the strategy, before you really know exactly what to do, it feels kind of all-consuming because you feel like, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this other thing. This person on Instagram is yelling at me, telling me I need to use trending audios, but this person is saying trending audios are like blah, blah, blah. and you sit there and your head spins because you hear things all over the place. But when you actually have a strategy and you know the content that you need to create in order to get a specific action, it's about refinement. It's not about more. It's not about adding a ton more content to your plate. It's about, okay, you're already posting the content. Let's make it convert higher for you. Let's make it more effective. Let's make it more efficient. A lot of times it's not even going to add time to your tasks. It's not going to add things to your plate. What it's really going to do is just switch and alter how you are currently doing it. And honestly, like, to tell you some real life client stories, I've had one client that we looked at her funnel or at her emails. We added an email funnel and she made an extra $7,000 in just a couple months. We changed the story layout for one of my clients. She said her stories were falling flat. She couldn't really build community, and she doubled her story views in one day. One day after we did that, her story views doubled. We redid somebody's homepage and her conversion rate increased by 3%. One client, we added a new pillar of feed content and her sales increased 50% over last month, meaning she was already posting feed content. We didn't add a double the amount of content that she needed to create. We just switched the messaging of one of her pieces of content that she posted every week. She had some content pillars already, and her sales increased 50% over last month. Another client removed a product from her suite, and it removed a major stressor and increased her order value time and time and time again. We removed a whole product that was causing her a lot of stress. The custom orders that she was always feeling like she had to offer, it removed a major stressor, and it actually increased her sales on the things that she wanted to create instead. Then another client added a product to her product suite. So some are removing, some are adding, and she tripled her average order value. Again, a similar result, but for a different business, we were either adding or removing things to their plate. Another one changed her launch framework, minimized her stress, cut her work in a quarter, and increased her sales in the end from launch over launch. All of these things took these people less than maybe a few hours to redo their website or to write a full email funnel. Some of it took them literally seconds to make some of these changes, and it tripled their sales. It increased their conversion rate. It totally reworked the way that their business grew. It made major changes. It's actually not about more. It's about refinement. You are showing up. You've been showing up for weeks to months to maybe years in your business trying to make this happen. And so now at this point, you don't need to add all of these things to your plate. You don't need to add these tasks. I think that's a major misconception. What you need to do is learn how to make what you're doing more effective. So when I look at my business, I don't look at my business and say, okay, what can I add to my business in order to make it more, in order to scale it, in order to make more sales? I look at my business and say, okay, what am I not doing correctly? What am I not doing well? What is not really working for me? And how can I adjust those things? You go and you look at your email funnels. Which one of these isn't converting the way that I want it to? We go and we look at my content. What content pillars are working that I should create more content around? I look at my podcast. I look at what episodes aren't really getting great click through. I get feedback from my clients. How can I do these different things differently? I don't go and I don't look outside of my business. I look inside my business to learn how to scale it. Most people actually say in business that you can start with one thing. Like, if I were to start a product-based business right now, I would start with one major customer, one major product, solving one major problem, and be on one major social media platform. That doesn't mean that I would need to be on YouTube, and I would go on Instagram, and I would go on Facebook, and I would go on TikTok, and I would go on Pinterest, and I would be posting everywhere because I'm trying to grow my sales. No. You should learn how to refine and master one major thing, and things will grow from there at a time. Many people actually burn out from business or give up on their New Year's resolution goals because they overcomplicate it with trying to do absolutely everything. Right now, if you look at your 2025 goals and it says, you want to quadruple or 10x your audience on Instagram, you want to redo your website, you want to add full new product suites, you want to implement subscriptions, you want to start selling to Canada, you want to run Facebook ads, but you want to do this other thing and you want to simplify this, and all of a sudden your head starts spinning, is because instead of looking at business growth as, okay, how can I refine this one thing and really make some changes in 1 hour that makes a major difference, you set a goal to post 7 times a week on 3 different platforms and do more, and then that just adds more to your plate and it leads you to burn out. And honestly, in 2 weeks after trying to do that, you probably won't even be doing it anymore because you're trying to keep up. When in reality, what you should be doing is analyzing, refining, and learning how to fill the gaps of the areas that just aren't converting. If you right now are going to learn how to learn an instrument, you wouldn't try to learn a ton of songs at once. You wouldn't jump to learning one of the more complicated songs. You wouldn't try to do 1,000 things at one time. You would pick one fundamental song, master it, and move on. You would pick one chord, try to really figure that out, learn each chord at a time, and then build on top of it to start, and then try an easy song and kind of keep going from there. Many of my clients say their business actually gets easier once they learn the strategy, once they get the structure, and once they get the support, because all they have to do is then execute. All they have to do is, okay, let me execute the content, which they're already doing. It's more effective. They're able to get that content across. The sales start coming in, and then they're just able to continuously learn how to analyze, learn how to refine, and keep on creating new things. Business growth isn't about more. It's not about just consistently adding more things to your plate. If you think about that, that's how people get to the point of having a $250,000 business that they have to work 12-hour days in order to consume, as opposed to running a $250,000 business that has mastered what they are doing and has really high effect, like conversion rates, really high KPI numbers, key performance indicators, because they have refined the things that they want to do to the point of knowing that their sales are seamless, knowing that their systems are working, knowing that things are out there. So when we look at business growth in 2025, I don't want you to think about, okay, what are all of the things that I need to add to my plate? I want you to think about what are the things that you need to learn and understand how to refine. I want you to think about where are the areas that you know you're not efficiently or effectively, really more looking at the efficacy. What is that word? Efficacy. Yes. Looking at the efficacy of your actions and seeing how can we improve it? How can we improve the conversion rates? How can we improve the average order value? How can we improve the retention rates? How can we improve our content and make it work better for us? And all of this comes down to strategy. All of this comes down to analyzing the numbers and knowing what really works. And a lot of times this is what my clients find to be so helpful, is that I come into their business and I'm able to say, okay, like 1, 2, 3, we have our first 60-minute kickoff call. And I can say 1, 2, 3, these are the areas that we can refine right now. I want you to add this pillar of content. I want you to make this change to your website. And they can see results really quickly because we're filling immediate gaps. And this is why, like, I call it kind of my superpower, is I can see a website, or I can look at your business from a bird's eye view and immediately tell you 5 gaps that you need to fill that will really make you see an increase in sales really quickly, because there's a lot of these things that just aren't working effectively right now. They just aren't working to the degree that they could be. And if we make those changes, there's a famous research paper that was written where on somebody's, like an opt-in, if you get like an email for a free masterclass or something like that, and there was a button that was blue. It was blue and it said sign up here. They changed that button. They changed one thing on their website. They changed it to red, and the conversion rate increased by 40%. Just by making that one change that took them less than 10 seconds to do. Their conversion rate increased by 40%. And I think that is a perfect example of, a lot of times we try to totally overhaul our actions. We try to overhaul and we look at how many times a week we have to do this and how many times a week we have to do that and how many platforms are we posting to, where in the end of the day, you just have to learn where you need to change your button from green to red to make that more efficient, to make that more effective. Because right now, like I said, you're already showing up. You're already doing the thing. You're already doing a really great job. You're already being consistent. your problem isn't consistency. Your problem is that you are consistently doing the wrong thing. Your problem is that there is a gap somewhere that we probably just don't know, that we have to just make tweaks and adjustments to your business. So going into 2025, I don't want you to think about this as the year that you add a bunch to your plate. Nobody wants that, right? I don't want that. I don't want a bunch of new things into my plate. I want you to think of this year as the year that you get strategized, the year you get structured, and the year that you figure out what it takes to really analyze and understand the behind the scenes of your business to make these minor adjustments and make really big impact in your business. And whether that be you have to learn how to create content that actually converts instead of just winging it. There is a lot of business that is not, like, you can't get through business by winging it. You have to know some strategy. You have to know some marketing elements to it. And we make these kind of tweaks and adjustments. Growing your business, increasing your sales, scaling your sales is not about more. It's actually about refinement. When I see clients that come to me for my scaling program, the product sales expansion, we actually remove a lot from their plate and their sales grow from there, because it's about refining the things that aren't actually necessary so we can go all in on the things that are actually going to allow them to scale their business. In PTP, it isn't about adding all of this to your plate. My clients are already posting content. It's making the content that they're posting actually work for them. It's making the stories that they're putting out there actually connect to their audience. It isn't about adding things to your plate. So something I do want to reiterate is the consistency piece. I think a lot of times when I talk to people right now, I'm having a lot of DMs a lot of conversations in the DMs, because people are all dreaming. They're reaching out. They're saying, Maddie, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm so excited about. And I love hearing from you guys in the DMs. As you know, my DMs are always open. What I've been hearing a lot of is people being like, this year, I just want to be consistent. I just want to show up consistently, and I just want to keep doing that. My question to them is like, great, I love that for you. Consistency is really important. You do have to show up, but consistently, what is the strategy that you're following? And they're like, well, I just want to post more stories, and I just want to post more feed content. And that alone, consistency alone, is not going to grow your business. We need to consistently do things that are strategized, that are strategic, that you do have a purpose behind. Because if we are consistently doing the wrong thing, consistency alone is not going to grow your business. Yes, you might have one video perform and you might be able to see marginal growth, but if we are really looking at trying to make this business really make sense this year, start having those consistent sales online, get to 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, or have this business be something that you can do full time, or have a business be where, I shared a lot of those client examples where they doubled their view, they doubled their sales, they increased their sales 50% month over month. They've removed major stressors. Those things happened by tweaks and adjustments. The more that I get into this business, the more clients that I help, is I realize business growth is not about overhauling what you're currently doing. It's about making tweaks and adjustments to actually see really big results. It's making tweaks and adjustments in order to improve what you're doing, in order to actually make them more effective, convert higher, and make them make more sense for you. As an action item from today's podcast, I really urge you to not look outside of the business that you already are doing. I want you to look at what you're currently doing and find what is really not working. And I was just about to say what you feel like isn't working. We don't want to know what you feel like isn't working. We need to look at the facts. If you don't know how to analyze your numbers, you need to find somebody that does, or learn how to analyze your numbers. You need to be able to actually factually look at your business and say, this is what's working, this is what's not, and let's find a way that we can actually make that happen for you. I want you to look internally. Like, if you are kind of like, let me just turn a blind eye to all of those analytics inside of Shopify because you're a little afraid of what you're going to find, that's where we need to go. We need to look at your average order value. We need to look at who's coming to your site, why they're coming to your site, how many abandoned carts you have. Because we can look at that and almost immediately refine it and make it make more sense, make it convert higher for you. A lot of times we think like, oh, my marketing isn't converting, or, oh, this isn't working for me, or nobody's buying. It must be this one major breakdown. But sometimes it's just, they're a little confused and we need to so one of my clients, another client story, we just reorganized what her header is on her website, her menu header, and her sales increased by 30% in the first month because some people were going to her website and getting confused. That was one tweak. It took her less than an hour and she saw a 30% increase in sales. A lot of these things aren't major new overhauls. It's learning the frameworks, it's making a switch in messaging, it's adding a pillar of content that you aren't making right now, and it's just filling a gap. You know those like Flex Seal commercials where they just like slap the hole on like the beaker of water. There's like this big pot of water and there's like a hole coming out of it, and they slap the Flex Seal on the side and it just stops the water immediately. That's exactly what we want to do. We have a lot of little holes coming out of the pot where sales are actually, we're losing a sale. We're losing a sale here. We're losing a sale there. You know, our email isn't converting very well. Our our header on our menu isn't working. You know, our content is missing a point of connection or a point in the sales process. We can slap that Flex Seal on all of those pieces within an hour, within a couple of hours, by having a lot of strong strategy behind it. Make the tweaks, make the adjustments, and all of a sudden, your pot of water starts holding water again. I want to change your mindset around business growth. It isn't about more. It isn't about more. You need to add more products. It's about refinement. It's about tweaks and adjustments. It's about making a lot of little small changes to really make a lot of changes to your end game. If you want help, if you want another eyes on your business, both of my live programs are launching in both January and February this year. So we have PTP as well as product sales expansion. If you want my eyes in your business, to learn these tweaks and adjustments, to learn the strategies, to learn the frameworks so you can grow your business now and into your future, see some of the results like the clients that were here, work directly with me, get my support, get my strategy, get my structure inside of your business. Both of those programs are launching in Q1. You can come on over to my Instagram at thisismadisonpaige and DM me support, and we can figure out which one works for you. PTP is all about getting you to consistent sales, having kind of sales starting to flow in. Product sales expansion is for my established business owners that are already seeing sales and how we can really refine and scale their sales from there. Both of them go back to this system is we don't need more. If you're trying to get to consistent sales, that doesn't mean you need to post more content. What it means is that you need to improve the content that you are putting out there to make it convert better. If you just increase the capacity, increase the quantity that you're putting out there, it doesn't mean that it will automatically convert for you. There are thousands and millions of business owners out there that are consistent, that are not seeing results because they're consistently doing the wrong thing. And so what we need to do is refine. We need to learn the strategy. We need to fill those gaps in your pot of water and where the things are leaking out. If you want my help in that, that is what we do in 3 months or 4 months. Inside of those programs is we come in, we fill your gaps, we teach you what to do, and we teach you how moving forward to identify the gaps that you need in order to keep on growing, to identify how you can tweak and adjust your own business moving forward. We build that entrepreneurial IQ in order for you to be able to consistently grow as an entrepreneur and don't need me in your corner eventually. So I hope that this was helpful for you, whether you are interested in support or not. I always want to bring you some things that you can kind of implement, some mindset shifts, and this is a big one. I am sick and tired of hearing people in my DMs say, I just need to be more consistent, or, I just need to add more to my plate, or I don't know how to keep growing my business because, there's just too much already out there and I don't want to add more. Girlfriend, I hear you. I've been you. I want to change that narrative forever, is that business doesn't need to be all consuming. We just need to understand the strategies, the frameworks, the tweaks, the adjustments, and how to identify what we need to change in order to see the biggest changes on the flip side of it. If that is something you're interested in, I would love to support you in it. Again, DM me on Instagram. Otherwise, there are applications in the show notes. You can apply there. I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. I can't wait to see what you do in 2025. I feel it already. This year feels like it has a lot of energy. It feels like it has a lot of momentum. It feels like people are excited about it, and there's a lot of growth to be had. I can't wait to see how it works for you.